Hello everyone. So today we are going to see the series of questions on best time to buy and sell stocks. Now there are so many questions on Leetcode and those all are linear DP based. Now it's best time to buy and sell stocks one, two, three, four, and then two miscellaneous type of questions with little changes in each and every question. Okay. Now once you'll get the idea like okay, what type of questions are this, you'll be able to solve it very easily. Okay, so let's just go to one of the question and I can maybe paste the question over here and you'll be able to see like okay what the actual question looks like. Best time to buy and sell stock one is actually very easy wherein you don't need DP. It's just a simple greedy based approach which you can apply. So I'm not pasting it over here or we are not doing it over here. Okay. So the question says that you are given an integer array prices where price of I is the price of a given stock on ith day. Now let's say your price array is also given and your price array is something like this. Okay. Now let's say our price array is this. Okay. Now on each day, on particular day, this is the price of one stock. Let's say given XYZ stock. Now you decide to whether buy a stock or sell a stock. Now you can only hold at most one share of the stock at any time. Okay, so whatever is the price, you can hold only one share. It's not two shares. So let's say you buy a bot at 7 rupees price. So that doesn't mean that you're buying two shares, so you're paying 14 shares. You can buy one share only. However, you can sell and buy the stock multiple times on the same day. So on the same day, you can sell the stock and buy the stock also. Okay, you can either buy, you can either sell, whatever you want, you can do on the same day. And now this means that on a particular day, you can either buy the stock or you can sell the stock. That is totally depending on you, that whether you want to buy the stock at this particular day or you want to sell the stock at this particular day. Okay, and that also you can do multiple times. Okay. Now, ensuring you never hold more than one share of the stock. So, it doesn't mean that you have bought this stock at price 7. Now, you cannot again bought it at price 1 because you already had that share of 7 rupees stock. Okay, that particular one share you already have. You need to first sold it and then buy the particular at 1. Okay, so you need to first sold it and then buy it, and then you can hold this. So you need to find and return the maximum profit you can achieve. Now, so what are the complications over here? First thing, how many our first step includes to find the number of changing variables. Okay, so let's define number of changing variables. Of course, I, that is the at which day you are, okay, at price at ith day, that means price at ith day. What else you will need? Do you need anything else? Like you wanted to decide that whether you have bought anything or you wanted to sell. So you need to decide on particular ith day that whether you want to buy or sell. You cannot do both at the same thing because at max you could have only one share of the stock at the same time. That's they have written. It's good that they have written multiple times, but there is no meaning of this multiple times feature over here because you could not buy and sell the stock multiple times on the same day. Just assume, okay, that I bought at one, I sold at one. It's again the difference is zero. Okay, now this is again four, so I bought at four, I sold at four. Again, the summation is zero. The only thing has happened is I can bought at previous time frame and I can sell at something later time frame. That is the only option I have. So that means multiple times is of no use. I can only buy a stock at particular time or sell a stock. So I have only two options, whether to buy, whether to sell. Okay. Now is this the two options or I have third option also? Like to buy and not sell. Now that means of course if buy then not sell. And that is indirect behavior, so this is not needed, but I have an option to not buy and not sell. So neither buying nor selling. Now, now this happens in both of those features. So let's say you have at particular ith day, okay, your turn is of buying, and that means you currently have no shares. You are empty. Whatever previously you bought, you have sold it. So now your chance is of buying only. You cannot sold without buying anything. So now your chance is of buying only. In buying also you have two options: whether to buy, whether to take or not take. Means whether to buy or not buy. Again you have two options. And then there is something called as sell. When will this come? When you have already bought a share. So when you already have one share. So when you already have one share, at that point only you can buy. So at sell you have only two options. At sell also you have two options: whether to take or to sell or to not sell. Means you have already bought it, but you thinking that okay, I'll not sell it. I'll sell it at later day when the price will be higher. Okay. So these are the only two options which you could have. Okay. So now the another changing variable here is whether to buy or to sell. So buy zero means to buy. Buy zero means you didn't have any share. So that means you need to buy. Need to buy. And buy one means you already have one share. So you need to sell it. So now you need to sell it because you already have one share. You need to sell it. And when it is zero, that means you don't have any share. You can put this variable as any stock. Let's say stock is zero means you have to buy it now. Currently you didn't have any stock. So if you didn't have any stock, of course you cannot sell it. So first you need to buy it, and then you have to sell it. So if stock is one, and that means you currently have one stock, one share. This could be share, not stock also. This could be share. And then now you have to sell it. Okay. So as per this, I have two variables. Now you got how to decide on the number of changing variables. One is I, that is fixed, and another is buy or share, which could be only two possible variables, 0 or 1. So looking at this, I could have my dp of size n cross 2, okay, where n cross 0 means what and n cross 1 means what, that we will write now. Now, so people will say that okay, this is 2 DDP, but this is only like a fixed value of 2, and that doesn't carry any sense. I could merge it over here and make it as 2n, wherein odd numbers, odd index represents buying. So if my index is odd, and that means for sure I have to buy it. And even index represents selling. So at even index, I have to sell. And that I have to decide whether I wanted to sell or not. But in that way, I can store here in 2n form also. But I didn't want to make it confusing. That's why it's better to have n cross 2, wherein you have up till n stocks. At each stock, you have two possible conditions, whether to buy it or to sell it. Now what does this dp of I comma buy means? Now, if buy is zero, that means what? Maximum profit. You have seen that what we wanted to achieve is max profit. So, max profit, okay, max profit from I to n, because of course we will pass what? Solve of 0 initially. And initially our stocks are also be 0. So, buy is also 0. That means we need to buy. So, maximum profit from I to n if we buy stock at ith price. So if I'm buying the stock at ith price, what is the maximum profit I can achieve? That's what. And dp of I comma buy 1. What does that mean? Max profit from I to n if we sell the stock at ith price. Okay, so these are the two conditions. That TP of I buy 0 means max profit I could get if we buy stock at ith price. And this is means max profit I can get if we sell the stock at ith price. Now, if we buy the stock at ith price, what will I do? I'll add minus of prices of I, because I am buying. So I am subtracting this from my total. So this is what I'm doing. And if I'm selling the stock, I'll add the plus of prices of I. Okay. Okay, so let's define your base condition. So what your base condition will look like. Now your solve has I is equal to 0. So what this should be, if I is equal to n, means if you have reached out of the bound array, that means now you don't have any price or any day left. You have completed all your days, all the given array elements. So at that point, of course, your profit will be what? 0. No profit, no loss, nothing, 0. Okay, of course, if dp of I comma by is not equal to -1, then this is dp of, then we'll simply return dp of I comma by, and that is simple. Now there are two conditions. So if by is 0, that means currently I didn't have any stocks. Okay, if by is 0, then what you have to do, you have to return dp of I comma by. So this will return dp of I comma 0 is equal to, return dp of I comma 0 is equal to what? Maximum of, there are two conditions, whether you can take or not take. Now I'm inculcating both in this maximum only. So let's say if you wanted to buy, then if you wanted to buy, what you will do, you will subtract this price, and then you will go to next index. At that your buy value will be 1, means now you can sell. So your buy is 1, means you can sell. You cannot buy another. So this could not be 0. Otherwise, if you didn't buy at this index I, then no need to subtract this. You directly go to I plus 1th index. And again, your buy variable remains 0 only. That means you are still left to buy. You have to buy at next index. Okay. That is again your choice, whether you buy or do not, you not buy. Okay. And the same condition happens for, so this will return dp of I0 if buy is 1. Then the same thing, return dp of I comma by as maximum of. Now this will add plus, because this is now selling. So if you will sell, you will get prices of I plus solve of. Now you have sell. So of course at the next index you need to buy only. So this becomes 0. Or you could do 1 minus buy if you didn't want to make it static value like this. Okay. At both these places. Or if you didn't do anything, then of course it remains the same. That means you still have one stock, one share, you need to sell it before buying another share. Because at a particular time you could have only one share with you. That's what mentioned in the question. Okay, so this is TP of I0, this is TP of I1. Now what do you have to do? You have to return solve of course, at the first time you are at index 0 and you didn't have any stock, so your buy value will be 0 only, and you will pass this prices array and n. Simple. Okay. Once you understand one question, all other questions are very, very, very easy. Just have to do little bit of changes, but I hope you got this now. Okay. This is simply order of n time complexity, nothing other than that. Okay. Order of n or order of 2n, whatever you want. Simple order of n time complexity. Okay, now let's go and solve it. Okay, so I could share this tab. Okay, so you are given this prices. Okay, what this does is like buy on day 2, so it bought at price 1, it sell at price on day 3 with price is equal to 5, so it got the profit of 4. Again it bought at the what with price 3 and sold at price 6, so again it got the profit of 3. So 4 plus 3 is 7, so total profit is 7. That's what they have mentioned from all possible combinations. Okay, at what point to buy, sell and all, but you have the simpler conditions that you can have only one share at the particular time, otherwise it would be very difficult. Cool. So we could have max of n as, so I'll make it static const int n is equal to, I could have 3 into 1 is 4, so I'll make it 1 is 5 for the better approach. So let it be 1 is 5. And okay, so you have tp of n comma 2. Okay, now I'll have int solve int I. int buy, or I could have shares, in shares, okay, which is initially 0, share only, share 0, share 1. We have only two options of share. And we have vector of int prices, and I can pass n also here. So if I is equal to n, and that means I didn't have to buy, didn't have to share it. Simply this is the base condition. If dp of I comma share is not equal to -1, return dp of I comma share. Now, if share is equal to 0, now this is your time to buy. So you will assign the value and return it. So return dp of I comma share is maximum of tick comma not tick. So if you'll buy, it's minus prices of I plus solve for I plus 1, 1 minus share prices n. Or what? Simply solve of I plus 1. This remains share only. Prices n. Okay. Now the same thing happen under if share is equal to 1 also. So if share is equal to 1, okay, it will be else if share is equal to 1, this could be plus prices of I, 1 minus I and all remains same. Okay. Just as the price should be added because you're selling it. Cool. Or I could remove this also and I could make it else part also. So if and else. Okay. Done. Clear. Cool. So I'll make it memset dp minus 1 size of dp int n as prices dot size, and I'll return solve for 0 0 prices and n. I hope you got this very clearly. Once you get this understanding, it's very easy to solve all those questions, all 6 7 questions related to buy and sell stocks. Okay, fine. Okay, now let me go to third question. I mean, best time to buy and sell stock, part 3 question. So this says that, so now this is hard. That was medium category. Okay, this is hard. This says here you are given a price where prices of I is the price of given stock on ith day. Okay, we know this. You need to find the maximum profit you can achieve, but you may complete at most two transactions. So from all of this, you can at max do two transactions. Okay, that is that one share is okay, but at that point you can do multiple transactions, like one time you bought, you sell, another time you bought, you sell, third time you bought, and you could sell that. Here it was written that maximum two times only you can buy and sell. Okay, max two times you can buy sell, that is one transaction is one time buying and selling. So you only have the option of buying and selling for the two times, max two times. Again, it was written you may not engage in multiple transactions simultaneously. That is, you must sell the stock before you buy again. So here they have mentioned it very clearly. There they mentioned that you can have multiple shares at same time, but there they have mentioned that you can hold single share only at a particular time. So again, it's the same meaning. Here also, it means that multiple transactions you cannot do simultaneously. That means it doesn't mean that I can buy the stock at this zero price, okay, at this zero price two times, and I sell it at fourth price, both the stocks at fourth day, at the last day where the price is four. No, I cannot do multiple transactions simultaneously. One time only I have to do. One time I have bought, I need to sell it before buying another stock. I cannot hold the share with me before selling, before buying another stock. Okay, cool. So now what do you have to do? Now the think of the variables. Okay, we have one variable called as I, another variable called as buy and sell, buy or I mean number of shares with us. And that again remains two. We could either have zero value or could have one value. Okay, anything else which could come into the picture now? So let me help you here again. So you have now you are given some number of transactions, okay? So you need to maintain that also, that how many number of transactions you have completed. right? So you could have a variable associated with this also, and that is varying. Okay, once you complete, your transactions will decrease. So you'll do transactions minus minus. Okay, so this is the variable called transactions which you need to store now. So now you have three variables, I, and then share or buy, which could have only two variables, 0 and 1. So its size is 2 only. And you could have a transaction variable, which is 2 in this case, right? Because you could have two transactions only at max. So this is also 2. One transaction, two transaction. Okay. Now, okay. So you have initialized this TP array of size, let's say n to 2. Okay. So initially you have two transactions left with me. So I am initializing my DP state as max profit, max profit from I to n. Again, I'm passing 0. So from I to n, okay, why this I to n, I have explained in very first video or maybe second video, which you can go through. So maximum profit from I to n when having share, okay. So this is share. When having share, and this let's say is the transactions, and trans transactions transactions left, or I could make it x, okay, and x transactions left out of all, out of 2 here, out of 2. So out of 2, if my x transactions are left, that is my condition. So because initially you will be passing your transaction as 2, you could make it another way. Initially you can pass 0, and then your base condition should include that if you have reached your transaction limit of 2, you have to stop from there. Okay. So now what is your base condition? Only base condition will be like, now it's not like if I is equal to n. That is for sure. If I is equal to n, you need to return 0. Or if your transactions is 0, that means now you are left with no transactions. With 0 transactions you left, then also you will return 0, because now you cannot do any transactions. So of course you need to return 0 in this case. Okay, so what is the only change? This all remains same. I'll have my transactions because it's index based. So 3 is because my index, if my index is 2, so that means 2 transactions left. So if I'm left with transactions left as 0, I'll return 0 from there. Cool. So only thing you can do is while selling the stock, okay, you just need to reduce the transaction. That's also if you have decided to sell. If you haven't decided to sell, your transaction left remains the same. Okay, all of the questions are similar to this. Now if this is the question wherein you have to complete at most k transactions only, so instead of 3 you will pass k plus 1 to your parameter. Okay, now there is another question which says that while applying a transaction, you will apply this fee called transaction fee. So while selling the stock, if you decide to sell the stock, you'll apply this fee while selling. So you will be adding prices of I minus fee to this variable. Okay, and this question says that you have been applied some cool down period. So that means after you sell your stock, you cannot buy your stock on the next day. That is, you need to cool down for one period. So if you have decided to sell the stock, means if you are adding prices of I, you need to go for buying the stock at I plus 2th day and not I plus 1th day. So if I have sell the stock, every time what I'll do, I'll sell and I'll go to I plus 1. But no, this says that if I have sell the stock at price is equal to 2, I cannot buy at price 3. I have to go to 0 only, compulsorily. But if I'm not selling, there is no cooldown. So everything, every changes are in the part of selling, wherein you are deciding to sell that stock, wherein you are adding that prices of I. Okay, so in the next video, we'll learn more about this linear DPs and some more questions, some harder questions, wherein you'll be able to get some more idea on DP base. So stay tuned until that. Bye bye. See you soon.